I always grew up with the belief that you'd always have a car payment, you'd always have a house payment. That's just the way life was. There was the elite that didn't have that, but I didn't think that was available to everybody. And when I saw this concept a year and a half ago, and I saw what it could do for my wife and my family and my kids, and that I could change the direction of my family's future with my daughters through education, through this program, and the impact that I could make on people, it's like I was convicted to my core that this isn't something that I'm selling anybody on. Yeah. It's something that I'm literally the hero to my friends and family for, because it's something that's like, debt is one of the most debilitating things out there. Yeah. Imagine if the average family had a chance to be able to wake up on the Monday morning, regardless of their income, knowing that they don't owe a penny to anybody. Yeah. That gets me excited in the morning.
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. I am on site in Indianapolis, Indiana at Trustworthy Financial with my good buddy, Mr. Mike Hall.
Good morning, man. I'm so glad to have you guys here.
Dude,
welcome to Indy.
Man, thank you so much. I've been to Indiana, but I haven't spent much time in Indianapolis, but like Fishers, Indianapolis, like, dude, I like this area. This is great. And I like to spend time with you. So it's a great mix.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, we moved here just over 6 years ago. And Money Magazine rated it the #1 city to raise families in America in October of 2017. It's just so family friendly. It's growing like wildfire. We really, you know, when you think of Indiana, you think of cornfields and farmland, and that's not what we have here. But it's our family loves it.
Dude, I love it too, man. I can see what you mean by that. You also have a great family. I was able to meet some of like the immediate family and work family last night, right? Between Taylor and Tom and your father and your wife, Casey, like, y'all got a great group, great team. Like, if you're not following this cat and staying in tune with what he's doing, I'm telling you guys, I'm going to talk about some special stuff today, but like, he's doing some special stuff. You know, you really are. So appreciate everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I love to spend time with you. We're going to do a couple interviews while we're here today. One of them is, I really wanted to figure out, like, you've really started to go all in on this debt-free for life program. And there's not too many people that are listening that are doing this, that are giving it any mind, paying it any attention. I will flat out say it's got my attention in a massive way. And so I want to start off with you of like, okay, is it something in your background or your story? Why does this have your attention more than it ever has in the past?
Yeah, you know, that's kind of a loaded question. I've got to see my dad serve people his entire life, you know, being a pastor. Yep. And I've always wanted to be someone that was making a difference in people. But me being an introvert, and when I say that, I mean, it's...
Which is hard to believe, by the way. I'm not saying I want to disagree with Mike in his office, but you don't come across like an introvert. Like, the dude's fun to be around, man.
Well, you know, I think I've read about a lot of successful people that are actually introverts, and it's not it's not what they see, right? It's not what people see from me. It's how I feel on the inside. Yeah. I was telling you last night that our family just served as a family in church for the first time last week, and we were greeting people, and I was just in a small group, and I was just so nervous and uncomfortable. Like, I was literally sweating, wiping the sweat off my brow. Yeah. And but you know what? But it goes back to what I talk about all the time, is that courage is not letting fear stop you. It's taking action in spite of it. And so I got to see the difference my dad was making in people's lives. Yeah. And that's why I became a fireman, because I could serve people, I could make a difference, but I didn't have to engage with them at this level, you know, at a personal level. Yeah. And so that was ripped out from underneath of me when I got my lung issues with the Marines in Iraq, and I stumbled into this business. I've never done any sales, and someone approached me about doing insurance, and the only reason I jumped into it was because it was a system-driven business, meaning as long as I was willing to be teachable and apply myself, I might have a shot of making it work. And to be honest, I mean, I didn't like what my future looked like, because it was like, what was I going to do with my life? How was I going to make a difference, and how was I going to be able to provide for my family? Well, I've been doing insurance for 12 years, and I've loved the result that it's created, but I'm passionate about insurance. I believe that everybody needs it. True. But I've never been excited about selling it. I've made a lot of money. I've been able to take care of my family.
A lot of money, by the way. Like, he's helped a ton of agents make a bunch of money too.
You know, and I want to be a leader that's going to do what I say and do what I tell my people that they should do. I don't want to be, manager, someone's pointing fingers and saying, go do that. A leader saying, this is what I'm doing. Who's coming with me? And so I feel like the last 12 years have really just set me up and prepared me for this moment. And so debt is something that my family's always struggled with. My dad was a pastor of a small church. He always had a secondary business or a job. He was raised in a mobile home. His parents never had any money, but they've always been servant leaders.
Yep.
And so
it seems to really plague the country too, like debt.
Dude, everybody. Well, look at today. It's such a microwave society. You see all these fake stories on social media of people that are renting cars and renting jets and making it look like their life is perfect. And so this is something I personally always struggled with. I've always made bad decisions financially, and I've been blessed enough to be able to out-earn my stupidity. But when I saw that there was a way for me to pay, I always grew up with the belief that you'd always have a car payment, you'd always have a house payment. That's just the way life was. There was the elite that didn't have that, but I didn't think that was available to everybody. And when I saw this concept a year and a half ago, and I saw what it could do for my wife and my family and my kids, and that I could change the direction of my family's future with my daughters through education, through this program, and the impact that I could make on people, it's like I was convicted to my core that this isn't something that I'm selling anybody on. Yeah. It's something that I'm literally the hero to my friends and family for, because it's something that's like debt is one of the most debilitating things out there. Yeah. Imagine if the average family had a chance to be able to wake up on the Monday morning, regardless of their income, knowing that they don't owe a penny to anybody. Yeah. That gets me excited in the morning.
And it should. You know what's interesting about that too is you mentioned that, like, if you think about couples and divorce, financial stress is one of the top reasons, right? I bet debt has a lot to do with that financial stress.
It's got to be.
That causes a lot of that. So maybe you're not a debt eliminator. Maybe he's actually saving marriages right now. Who freaking knows, man, right? Maybe he's sitting here, maybe he's going to be doing couples therapy pretty soon. Just kidding. But yeah, it's cool.
We're educating for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm selling anything. It's something that either makes sense or it doesn't.
You mentioned that before too, so I want to stop. That's a really good point. Yeah. As I'll stop the marriage jokes for a second, but like, dude, you said something previously that I liked, which was that this is something that you show them where they're at and where they could be, and you let them make an educated, informed decision, and you answer questions. And if you'd like to move forward, you show them how to do that. Yeah, that's cool.
I think people experience a ton of different emotions when they see this. And the biggest one, usually the first one is anger. And it's anger at their creditors. It's anger at their situation. Like when I sat down and I saw this, and I saw it, we've got a really good interest rate on our mortgage. It's 2.5%. And people are thinking,
really good.
Right. People are thinking, oh my goodness, like, look at this great deal that I've got. But when you look at your statement and you look at the amount of dollars, the dollar amount in that statement that went to taxes, then you divide that by the payment you made, and you see that it's nowhere near 2.5%. And it's like, how is this even legal? Like, you see all this bait and switch stuff out there. Like, if there's ever, like, nobody, with all the houses that I purchased, nobody sat down and said, well, it's not actually 2.5%. It's actually going to be this. Right. And so when someone sees that and they see how hard they're working, how many families out there have got 2, 3, 4 jobs just trying to pay the bills? A lot. And then when you see that 30 to 50% of your payment isn't even going to eliminate your debt, it's literally going to make your creditors wealthy. So that's the first thing. So it's like a punch in the gut. It's like, how did I not know this?
That is a punch in the gut. That punches me in the gut. I'm curious if this is punching you guys in the gut there listening. If it is, let us know in comments below.
Yeah. And then they see that there's a way out. And with most of the people we're helping, it's not an extra spend out of their pocket.
Yep.
So we found that the average American spend 10% of their income to try to pay their debt off. So we're literally just redirecting the efforts they're already making. The whole concept, we're just taking the compounding interest that's hurting them, and we're showing them how to put it in their advantage.
Which is great. Yeah. And does that go back to, I mean, you as a person, right? Marine, firefighter, insurance agent, pastor's son, where does the passion to help others really come from? Where do you think?
That's,
Because this dude's like he's passionate. He gets emotional. He wears his heart on his sleeve in a good way. Like really, really cares. I've hung out with a lot of people that are at massive levels like this cat, and he would say he's not at massive levels because of how he wants more, and he knows he can do more. He can help more of you. He can help more other people get out of debt, etc. Help his family more, etc. And he's right. But it's deep, And when I find successful people that are doing something really cool, it's deep for them. Like my team can feel it when I talk to them. Like it's deep. I feel that when I talk to you.
Yeah. I've always been someone that's been good at compartmentalizing my emotions until like a couple of years ago, and there's just like a switch that happened, and my body just changed, But I think it's just changed my life at such a level, I'm so different than you in the fact that I've always struggled with confidence. I still struggle with confidence issues.
That's so
and
crazy.
To see, man, dude, I thought if I ever got to the point of making $100,000 a year, my life would be forever changed. And to see how far beyond that we've gotten, and to feel like we're just scratching the surface, it's like, how many other people like me out there are terrified, that struggle with self-confidence issues, that have a dream in their belly, that have a dream in their gut, that if someone like you or I just believed in them and gave them a shot, that they could change everything about their family. So that's why I do this. It's like, can I just find another Mike Hall and show them a way?
You're even getting emotional now as we talk about it, which is okay, by the way. Like, I think it's important to show a transparent, vulnerable side of someone. Most people struggle with that. I still struggle with that from time to time,
I try not to.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I'm not saying I would try to.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't try not to, because people respect raw, real emotion. They're better connected to it. And you're seeing a different side of this cat, even on this interview compared to previous interviews. And we're not sure why, but we've found something that, he's passionate about and he's sharing.
Well, I'm passionate about my family. No one's going to have my family's back if I don't. And if I don't believe in me, why would anybody else? So if I can just encourage more people to believe in themselves,
Yes.
doesn't mean you're going to make it. You might not make it. Building a business in the United States of America is one of the most difficult things in the world, but if you don't leave it all in the field, failure is inevitable.
96% of companies don't make it 10 years. 96%.
It's crazy. Why do you think that is?
I think the biggest reason, I could give a lot of reasons. I think the biggest reason, and we're seeing it right now, is they don't truly believe in what they do. And if you don't believe in what you do, you're not going to wake up early, excited about it. You're not going to stay late. You're not going to do everything you can to win. You're not going to take out that extra loan or talking about debt elimination. Like you won't go that extra mile for the company. You won't get rid of people when they're the wrong fit for the team. You won't push and make calls yourself. You won't lead by example. Like all the little things that go into running a business, or when things are really tough, it's easier to tap out and quit than to push and fight through. When you get the frivolous lawsuit, when you get the team member that is blasting you on social because they're just not with you anymore and they just don't like you for whatever reason, even though you were good to them. Like all the layers that go in with that. Being a business owner is one of the hardest things on the planet. I'm not saying being the president of the United States isn't harder. Okay, I get it. It is. But being a true business owner is one of the hardest things on the planet. It's glorified. People think it's the thing to do. And I'm not saying it's not a thing to do, but I believe it's the wrong thing for a lot of people. And but I also truly believe that like plugging into a system like yours and working with you, they're building their own business, but they're doing it with help from you. They're not having to start something from scratch and try to figure it all out. I as an initial insurance agent, I didn't have to figure it out. I kind of a little bit did, but I didn't have to. I was able to plug in, right? When I started all this other stuff we're doing, like, dude, I had to start from freaking scratch. Yeah, you touched a nerve for me to where I could just go for days. I don't know why. I just think that it's easier to give up and start over than to push through all the hard times.
I think that most people, they leave that door cracked and they leave a plan B. And human nature is to take a path of least resistance. I think people are either running to something or from something.
Yeah.
And when you're running to something, maybe you're not as connected with it. But I was running from something.
Yeah, and it's deep.
Yeah.
It's deep. And Will Smith always says, man, a plan B only distracts from plan A.
Yeah.
Like if there's a, and I still believe this. Like if someone's working a second job, maybe it's temporarily serving their family, but permanently it's hurting their family. So and I get it. Like if you got to pay the bills and you got to do whatever you can for your family, work overnight, work weekends, do whatever the freak it takes. But that's still a plan B.
You've got to be willing to take the risk and go all in, knowing that there's no guarantees.
Mm-hmm. In anything good in life, there should never be a guarantee. You know, so many people.
Even a job, there's no guarantees. Look at all the people that have lost their jobs since COVID. Yep. You know, that have been at their company for 20 or 30 years and just have the rug ripped out from underneath of them. That's not the safe path.
Here's what's interesting too. On that note, most people would say, "Well, dude, if I asked people that were let go, like if you guys are listening and you were ever let go from a job, and I said, what do you think about them for letting you go?" They're not going to respond positively about the company.
No way.
But they should, and here's why. Elon Musk buys Twitter. He lays off like 80% of staff, whatever the numbers are. I'm just giving some examples. He was interviewed and said, "Do you regret doing that?" And people are like blasting you over it. He said, if you're on a boat and there's a bunch of people on the boat and the boat's going under and there's too many people on the boat and it's weighing it down, you've got to do something. He said, so by letting go of the 80%, I'm looking out for the 20%. By letting go for the 80%, I'm looking out for the company. By letting go of the 80%, I can keep paying the 20. By letting go of the 80%, he's like, it's the right decision. So maybe, just maybe, when you were let go from a company in the past, maybe they weren't a scumbag. Maybe they weren't a terrible person. Maybe because they let you go, it sucks. But like maybe, just maybe, they were actually looking out for the company and doing what was best for the company. That's a big reason why 96% of companies fail, is because they won't make those moves when the time is right and when they absolutely have to make them. That's the part of going all in. And you can feel Mike's energy today. Like the dude's committed on more of a level than I've ever seen, and is completely all in on what he's doing and believes in this debt-free for life thing and debt elimination and the power that debt elimination can have and that can help. Talk about how agents can even like help people get out of debt without having to leave their current IMO, without having to move contracts. They can refer people. They can add other carriers to sell it they don't have. Like it's a totally different thing. Like it's not really. Now, could other IMOs hate it because it could distract their current producers from selling what they were selling because then they're fat you with this? Sure. But like, dude, at the end of the day, like either make the opportunity great and allow people to go serve their family and help people, or just make, you know what I mean? Or just make it better so your agents don't get distracted.
Yeah. I'm going to answer your question in a second.
Okay.
There's something else that you touched on a while back about our business and about being able to work in our business and about how tough business is. The neat thing about our industry, well, first of all, we talked about it last week at 8% Virtual, about how there's more millionaires made in our industry than any other industry in the country, first generation, right? And we talked about how tough it is to build a business in the United States. But the neat thing is that we get to do it with like-minded people, so that we get to encourage each other. So I think that gives people an extended shot to make it in our industry. Yeah. You got to love people to do it. But to answer your question, this is the neat thing about our program, is that debt is something everybody has. Most people want to get rid of it. Most people are paying extra on it. And when I saw this, when I was convicted about this several months ago, I started thinking, I wanted to think bigger. It's like, okay, who has a book of business? Look at what's going on in real estate. Can I reach out to real estate brokers that maybe every house they sell, it's like, hey, now that we sold you your dream home, let me show you how we can pay that thing off in 10 years, not 30. Or if things slow down and they're not making sales anymore, how do brokers keep their agents profitable and busy. Well, what if they go back to people they've helped over the last 2 years and say, hey, Cody, I'm so glad I was able to help you with your dream house 2 years ago. I see what's going on in the economy right now. I see how prices are rising. People need extra money. One of the things that we're doing to help our clients is we're showing you a way on how you could pay that thing off a whole lot quicker, because if you don't have any debt, your money is going to go further. Well, insurance. What if we're looking at P&C agencies, right? Help them with homeowners insurance, car insurance. Well, let me show you how to eliminate that. You're always going to have the insurance. It's not going to hurt their business, but eliminate the debt that you're paying. Well, same thing in our space with life insurance, right? It's like if I sit down with somebody, and I've done this with several people, I'll sit down and I'll meet with somebody about protecting their mortgage. Maybe they don't see the value in spending $80 or $90 a month on covering the mortgage if something were to happen, if they were to get sick, injured, or pass away. But debt is something that strikes a nerve. So I'll say, hey, Cody, look, I see that the mortgage protection didn't make any sense to you. I would agree with you. But I'm assuming that you want to pay that daggone mortgage off as fast as you can, like everybody else. Well, everyone wants to do what everybody else does.
Yeah.
So it's just a simple referral. Or if we help them, it's like, hey, Cody, I'm so glad I was able to help you today with the mortgage protection, protecting the house for your family. Did that give you the peace of mind you were looking for? It did. Well, look, I'm assuming you want to pay this thing off as fast as you can. Can't promise you anything, but I can connect you with a specialist and show you what the math looks like. So it's a way that, one, it's going to increase agents' profitability. Two, that we know that if an agent makes more than one sale on a house, the chances of them keeping the business are even stronger. And imagine if people just did it, if they just referred enough, or they just learned this to help enough people, that it completely covers their lead cost. What if it covers all their expenses, and now they keep 100% of the deposits they make with the IMO that they're at or whatever they're doing, and this just alleviates that? Because the one thing I don't think we talk enough about, and it's funny because at 8% virtual, they were asking about like how much do I pay myself, right? Well, that's a mistake that I made early on, was I paid myself too much. I didn't understand the difference between revenue and income. And so now I operate a lot like you. Like I want to take as little as I can so I can throw as much back into the business. You just said that 96% of business fail in their first 10 years. A lot of that is probably lack of capital or mismanaged capital. And this is a way to extend your capital with no extra outlay.
Yeah. With money you're already spending.
And dude, we could fill coliseums with this because it's a movement. It's not a sales thing. You know, it's just like, it's something that the average person that's never had any desire of doing any kind of sales, especially insurance, could make a huge difference to their friends and family and people they meet. And it could supplement their family's income with whatever it is they're doing. Maybe that gets them out of the 2 or 3 part-time jobs.
Entirely. And
now they have more time back with their kids and their family.
Yeah, which is special. And you do this. He gets excited when he starts talking about this too. You can feel it, right? If they're also getting excited and they're like, man, dude, I want to keep chatting about this. What should they do? What should we send them? Where should they? Whatever. Yeah,
and we can probably even put this link on the video, but it would be getstarted.trustworthy.life. So on there's a bunch of videos. They can connect with our team. You know, we can find out what their desire level is, whether it's just the debt-free or whether they want to look at other things. That'd be a great way to get some info.
Getstarted.trustworthy.life.
Getstarted.trustworthy.life.
Getstarted.trustworthy.life. And we'll put the link in the description below, but getstarted.trustworthy.life. Dude, I love it, man. Yeah. That's cool. Well, I appreciate everything you do. I love hanging out with you. I love being here live on set in Indy with you.
Dude, welcome. Yeah, first time in Indy. That's awesome. First time using our podcast rooms. That's pretty exciting too, to get to break it in with you. That's incredible.
Like, I've got this podcast studio. I've never used it. Never even been in there really, but yeah, this is awesome, man. I love it.
Very cool.
Thank you for being back on Power Players, and excited to continue hanging out today.
Absolutely.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Okay. Thanks for listening to Power Player Podcast. Man, let me know what you think about this episode. Like this debt thing. What do you think? Should you help people eliminate debt? Is Mike doing the right thing? Do you like where he's going? I know I like where he's going, man. Get started.trustworthy.life. See you on the next episode. Adios.
Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
I'm so excited for today's CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. We got a special guest. He is back on the channel talking about how to sell life insurance from home. Here's what I love about this person. Yeah, I'm telling you, this will be one of the best.